Okay, I'm back. I'm not sure why that video cut out exactly, but what you got when you fire the thing up, is you basically hit the button and the engine may or may not start depending on the gas engine may or may not start depending on the state of the battery charge. Like right just now, it started for a second and it shut off. This little gig here, this little display, will actually show you if power is coming from your electric motor, from your gas motor, or a combination of the two, or if it's actually the motor will actually reverse itself if you hit the brakes and become a generator and charge the battery. It also does it on inclines and things like that. So it's really efficient. You don't have to plug these in. The gas motor charges the battery through regenerative braking or anytime the gas engine kicks in. But I think when you see a lot of people driving these things down the road and they seem like they have their head up their ass, they're probably looking at this damn thing. That's my guess. They get transfixed on this thing and they don't watch the road in front of them. They drive like jerks. The other thing I've noticed is I've done a lot of research on these. If you watch the YouTube videos, everybody's talking about how you can hypermile with these, or talking about gunning the gas and then letting it coast, and the engine kicks on and off and whatnot, and all these different techniques. But invariably, when you watch the videos, they're doing slower than they should be doing in the left lane and people ripping around them. And I've even heard them comment, "Oh, somebody's in a hurry to get to work." Well, that's just too bad. Now, see, that's the kind of attitude that makes people hate people that own Priuses. Me for one. That's what really gave me a really bad taste in my mouth about these cars, just because the way people drove them. Which, no respect for anybody else when you're on the road. I mean, if you're going to drive that slow, freaking keep right, man. Stay out of the way. And I've driven this thing down the highway. It does not have to go slow. I can neither confirm nor deny that I might have gotten it up to 80 miles an hour, and it seemed like there was plenty left. So there's no excuse to drive like that other than you're just looking at this gauge and you're trying to squeak every little cheap penny you can out of mileage. But come on, don't do it at the expense of people behind you, pissing people off, creating road rage. That's not cool, man. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. And the other thing that a lot of people tend to not like about these is, for years, the battery packs were really only available through Toyota. And they were good for, I think, about 5 years, 3 to 5 years, depending on how much battery or how often you're using the battery versus the electric. And you didn't have any choice. You had to go to Toyota for them. And I think they pretty much just, I don't know if they recycled them or where they went, but it created a lot of waste. It was a lot of toxic battery crap going on. But now, since the technology is a little older, the aftermarket's come into it, and you can actually rebuild and refurbish these battery packs. If you open the top, you've got, I believe, 28 separate 7.5 volt cells. You can go through and you can replace the cells that need to be replaced instead of just junking the whole thing. So I think, in the shorter term, it's going to be a little more environmentally safe with the batteries. Before, I absolutely agree. They were just a toxic dump. You're going to save money in the short term, but look at this poison crap you're going to have to get rid of, 85 pounds of junk in 3 to 5 years, so that's not good. But I think that it's nice that the aftermarket's actually gotten into it and created a better alternative for recycling and rebuilding those things. So I think that's going to help a lot. But yeah, so that's what I got. I wanted something a little better mileage, and I've had my eyes open for a couple of months and done a little research, and I lucked out and managed to get a fully loaded one for super cheap. It needs a front wheel bearing. You can hear a bit of a growl in it. Real easy to change. In fact, it's the exact same wheel bearing in a Toyota Corolla that I did for someone else not too long ago. So it's really not that hard to change. And I believe when I got it, we had a check engine light come on for an O2 sensor. I put some fuel injection cleaner in it, ran it for a bit. That seemed to clear that code up. We've got the ABS light on. That is because of that wheel bearing. It's causing a weird signal on the ABS sensor that's on that wheel. And that's really all there was wrong with this thing. And like I said, it needs a good cleaning, needs a detailing. The guy had a dog in here. I don't know if you can tell. Maybe not, but there was hair in the headliner. So he had a tall white dog of some kind. And I don't know. Other than that, it seems like it's a pretty smoking deal. But no, I'm not going to give up my V8s. They're not going anywhere. I just wanted to have an alternative. Because, okay, for instance, my Buick there. Great, man. LT1 V8. It runs terrific. Tons of power. But if I want to go anywhere, I've got to let it warm up like 10 minutes. And a lot of the places I go are less than 5 miles. So that didn't make a lot of sense. Let the thing, you know, run for 10 minutes to get good and warmed up and then go up the street to Dairy Mart. So something like this seems like a little more practical alternative for that. And oh, hey, look at that. We got a squirrel. Check it out. Squirrel, squirrel.